Hello everybody, today I will continue to practice reading English. This content today is the script of episode 4, calls and instant messages, office English of BBC Learning English. This script today is rather long, so I also try to read as much as I can. So let's start it right now. Phone calls, video calls, even instant messages. There are so many ways to communicate at work. I hardly ever use phone calls at work. There's almost always video calls. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I made an actual phone call. It's really easy to just message someone at work or start a call online. I might call somebody on the phone if there's something urgent, but I don't think I use phone calls at work as often as before. Instant messages are very useful at work. We use them all the time. In this episode of Office English, we are looking at the language of calls and texts at work. Welcome to Office English from BBC Learning English, your podcast guide to the language of business people. And I'm Phil, and we're here to talk about the more difficult parts of speaking English at work. In episode 1, we were talking about emails, but there are loads of other ways that people communicate in the workplace today. What's your favorite people? I think my favorite is actually a video call. I think it's so useful now that lots of people work from home some of the times to be able to have a video call and to talk with people. And it means that a meeting can be quite productive because you can prepare what you want to say in advance and you don't have a pressure of being in the room with people. I find that quite useful. Actually, what about you, Phil? I think I like instant messages because they are kind of immediate. They are kind of you can get a quick answer quite often. You can chat quite easily. You can look back and see what someone said. I think they are quite practical and just feel a lot freer than email. Yeah, but we should talk about instant messages because not everybody has those at work. So an instant message is what a lot of offices use now, so that when you are working at home, working remotely, you can still keep in touch really easily with the people that you work with. So it will be a messaging platform that may be part of your email or a different app at work, and you can talk to your colleagues like you may do on the phone. You can also have the messages on your phone, so it makes it really easy. Those are really popular now, and we use them here at BBC Learning English, but with all these different ways to talk to colleagues at work. Making sure you say the right thing is quite stressful, even if you speak English like a pro. So we are going to look at some useful phrases to use whether you are talking on a video call using an instant messaging app or making a good old-fashioned phone call. Let's start with video calls. We talk about the difficult language of meeting before on the podcast, but haven't but having a meeting via video can make things even more complicated. What phrases can help us hear people? Well, lots of the phrases around video calls are usually around technology. So if there are problems on a video call, and lots of people listening would have experienced this, so we need to know phrases like "Could you mute, please?" To tell somebody to turn their microphone off, or you're on mute to tell someone their microphone is turned off and they need to turn it on to speak. But it's also useful to be able to say things like, my internet is slow, I'm going to turn up my video because my internet is rubbish. Which means, I'm gonna try and have the call. And then the other one is your video is freezing, which means your video is not very good because your internet connection is bad. There's a lot of language around the technology of video calls view. Oh, there's one. There's a like is, oh sorry, you're breaking up, I didn't catch that. Yeah, which you can also use if you weren't listening and you need them to repeat. Don't give away the secret, people. But then you also need to be able to interrupt during a video call. Now this can be really difficult because when everyone's talking on a video call, it's harder to know when people is about to speak. You may have no stage when you use a video call. People often talk over each other, but so you can use some phrases like, could you stop? Could I stop you for a moment? Or sorry, would you mind if I ask a quick question? Being polite at on times when you are trying to interrupt because you may not get the natural pause like you do in an in-person meeting. Yeah, and there's sometimes on the different platform that people use, there are things where you can put your hand up or show a little picture or something to say that you want to say something. Yeah, and that can be a good way if you are sharing a meeting to keep on top of when people want to speak. So there's a lot of technical language for video calls. But what about sending text messages or instant message at work? How do these work for you? Yeah, so the great thing about instant messages is they are very quick and they can be very immediate. But of course, that console causes a problem sometimes because maybe we expect an immediate response, or maybe when someone sends it to us, we think they expect an immediate response, and we feel under pressure and we need to stop doing what we are doing, or we in a meeting somewhere else. So it's quite good to use phrases when we are sending it, saying, when you have a moment, sorry to bother you. Actually, and also is if when you do get a message, you're quite busy and can't respond. Are there any good phrases you could use for that, people? Yeah, you could just say, I'm in a meeting right now, I'll get back to you later, or I'm really sorry, I don't have time, maybe ask you. Yeah, and also I think when you want to send an instant message to someone, you should think about what you are messaging them. So what the topic is. So is instant message the best? Is instant message the best place for your conversation? Because things get lost so easily if they're in an instant message, because the chat carries on and it's hard to search for something. So if it's an important thing or a document or something that somebody might need to find again, an email may be better. But if it's more like, oh, it's just gonna be much quicker if we quickly chat about it, a bit like you might do if you thought I'm gonna phone somebody, then that's when you use an instant message. Now there is one thing that I think is a little bit complicated about instant messages, and that is, in a way, we don't have many rules yet on how to use them. So I think we can sometimes be incredibly informal in instant messages, much more so than you ever be on an email. But then on the other hand, sometimes you do have to instant message someone who you don't know so well, or they are very important, so or you have to get through to them, and we might change the way that we send our message. We might suddenly become much more formal, and it's look a little bit like an email. The things that we're sending are like from an email. Yes, that what do you think about emojis and GIFs in instant messages? Oh well, we like emojis. I think that's the place for an emojis. If it's feel like that's the way other people at your work are using it, then definitely go for it. The reason that this platform exists is to try and create a sense of being in the office, but when you are not, so they are supposed to be more chatty. They are supposed to be friendlier, but yeah, just keep an eye on what other people are doing. So try and look at other message people send to you and respond it in a similar way. Right, so we cover video calls and instant messages, two new ways to talk to people at work. But sometimes you just need to pick up the phone and call somebody. Now are there any phrases that can help us with that people? Yeah, so when you are calling someone on the phone, and you might already be familiar with this, you want to introduce yourself and check that you have got right person, you have got the right person. So you might say, hi, this is people from BBC Learning English. Is that Phil speaking? That's when you are calling someone from outside your organization, or somebody that you don't know, but because you don't use phones as often, definitely in the UK now, at work, in the office, it may be useful to check the person free to speak to you. So especially if you are calling them out of the blue, so that means you're calling them and they didn't expect a call from you. You say, is now a good time to talk, or do you have a few minutes to talk about this? Just polite way of checking that they have the time to speak to you, because people get annoyed if you call them out of the blue. Okay, yes, another thing that I sometimes do when I'm calling, often when I call someone, is because I've got a problem and I need to get it sorted out. So I'm calling the department and I don't know whether they can help me or not. I may just say, I don't know if you can help me, but or I don't know if this is the right place. But that's something I say quite a lot, and it's often isn't the right place, but sometimes they can point you to the right place to call. They are much more likely to be helpful if you start a call in a friendly way rather than demanding something from, for instance, the IT department. As soon as you call them, just like when you are writing an email, taking the time to study how the other people at your workplace. Use messages, video calls, and phone calls to communicate can be really useful to make sure you get the tone of your language right and that you are using the right platform for the right message. Let's hear again from our BBC Learning English colleagues. I might call somebody on the phone if there's something urgent, but I don't think I use phone calls at work as often as before. I hardly ever use phone calls at work. They are also always video calls. Yeah, I can't remember the last time I made an actual phone call. It sounds like as the workplace changes, as more of us work from home, and as we have more access to the internet, people use phones a lot less and video calls and message more. What do you think, Phil? I think it's might depend what industry you work in. I think some people might be very keen on making lots of phone calls, whereas in others it's much more based on email. So it does depend a little bit on the culture of the company you work in, and maybe the type of the company that you're working for as well. That's it for this episode of Office English. Remember, there's loads more courses and activities to help you with your English at work at bbclearningenglish.com. Next time we'll be talking about mistakes and the language we can use when things go wrong at work. Oh, I think I may need that one. See you then. Bye. Bye. That's on. I had just reading the script of episode 4. It's also rather long text for me to read. I think it's on, so I think maybe I will practice 1 or 2 more times for a smoothly speaking, and I very need your contribution, your idea, your opinion about my speaking skill. Let's contribute for me to help me improve my English skill. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. And don't forget to subscribe my channel to follow my progress of studying English. Thank you so much.